Hi guys, it's Mr. Pollock Biology here with another video about the Unit 5 Synoptic essay. And in this video I'm going to share with you a couple of predictions of mine for the June 2015 paper. So I'm going to let you know a couple of essay titles that I think may make an appearance. But before we do that, I should let you know this little disclaimer here. This is a prediction only. Okay, it's based upon my teaching experience looking at recent essay titles and the specification as a whole. To prepare fully for your Unit 5 Synoptic essay, you should review as much of the A-level course as possible. Write practice plans for a selection of essays. You should write some full essays as well, and then have them reviewed by a teacher or a tutor. So I have no insider knowledge, this is just pure speculation. Here's some recent essay titles. The last 3 years have been quite interesting. In 2014, we had Exchange and Controlling Internal Conditions, so homeostasis, Unit 5 sort of stuff here. We had Energy Transfer Between Organisms, pretty heavy on the ecology from Unit 4 there. In 2013, we had the Function of Cell Membranes, pretty heavy on Unit 1 for transport across the membrane, then Unit 5 as far as maintenance of resting potential from the nerves topic. We also had a lot of ecology again, relationships and interactions between organisms. That's quite an open-ended one, really. Back in 2012, the importance of shapes fitting together. I mean, that's really screaming enzymes, isn't it? And then how bacteria affect human lives. So you could talk about the use of genetically modified bacteria. You could talk about bacteria as pathogens like cholera and tuberculosis as well. So again, a lot of opportunity for breadth there. But here are my 2015 predictions. So I'm tipping proteins, carbon dioxide, ions, DNA technology, and ATP. So I'm going to break these down one by one and hopefully go through a little essay plan with you guys to help you out in terms of planning for these. So the first one I'm going to talk about is proteins, and the essay title for this would be something along the lines of describe the importance of the structure and function of proteins, or the variety of structures and functions present in proteins, something along those lines. So you can talk about structure from Unit 1, primary, secondary, tertiary, or quaternary and prostatic groups if you want to. You could talk about transport across the membrane, active transport and facilitated diffusion, remember, they both require carrier proteins. You can talk about enzymes, which is a huge topic from Unit 1. You can also talk about actin and myosin in Unit 5 from the muscular contraction topic. You could talk about hormones from Unit 5 as well. You could talk about how polypeptides are synthesized from Unit 5. Also, that brings in a little bit of Unit 1 knowledge as well, as far as rough endoplasmic reticulum and ribosomes. Hemoglobin from Unit 2 as an example of a quaternary protein. You could also talk about the nitrogen cycle as well. So that's proteins, that's the one I'm tipping pretty heavily. But we've also got another couple to consider. Inorganic ions. So the title would be something along the lines of the importance of inorganic ions in living organisms. So the topic areas that I've put together: action potentials, so you could have maintenance of the resting potential, generating an action potential, repolarizing the axon after an action potential, all of those things from Unit 5. We've got cholera from Unit 1, so you could talk about chloride ion movement and how that causes the symptoms associated with infection by cholera. You could also talk about oral rehydration therapies and how they require sodium and potassium ions for a variety of purposes. From Unit 2, we're thinking active transport of ions causes water movement into the roots, manipulating water potential. Unit 5, the role of calcium ions in generating muscular contraction. Hemoglobin, again, Fe2+ in hemoglobin from Unit 2. And the nitrogen cycle in Unit 4, nitrites and nitrates kicking around in there. So that's the ions little essay plan for you guys. What else have we got? The next one I wanted to talk about was ATP, good old adenosine triphosphate. And the essay title for this will be something along the lines of, again, the importance of ATP in living organisms. So again, we can talk about active transport of mineral ions into the roots to move water in. We could talk about active transport, the importance of that with a couple of examples. We could talk about respiration, the investment of ATP initially in glycolysis, and then how it's generated in Krebs cycle and also as a result of oxidative phosphorylation on the electron transport chain. Talk about how it's utilized to aid absorption in the small intestine. You could talk about its role as an energy currency, how its structure is related to its function, why it's a great energy currency for the cell. You could talk about its role in photosynthesis, how it's involved in maintaining the resting potential from Unit 5, and again muscles, and what happens if we don't have enough ATP and rigor mortis from Unit 5. So again, huge amounts of breadth there, and great scientific content too. What else have we got here? The fourth one, is it now? Fourth one is going to be carbon dioxide, and the title that this one would be something along the lines of how carbon dioxide affects organisms directly and indirectly. So we're talking control of heart rate and chemoreceptors detecting the drop in blood pH and increasing your heart rate, the lungs and how we remove carbon dioxide in gas exchange and exhalation. We could talk about how carbon dioxide lowers the pH of the blood and causes Bohr shift, oxygen dissociation curves shifting to the right, meaning they give up their oxygen to the respiring tissues more readily. The role of carbon dioxide in global warming, which of course links to photosynthesis, and naturally the carbon cycle is the obvious one as well, all of those last three from Unit 4. So great topic for breadth again. The final one that I'm tipping is DNA technology, and this is pretty heavy on Unit 2 and Unit 5. So my introduction here would obviously be talking about DNA structure. Then we could look at the applications of DNA tech, maybe look at DNA probes from Unit 5, how we can classify organisms by looking at their DNA from Unit 2, maybe even talk about bacterial plasmids from Unit 1, how can we treat cancer, or how is our treatment of cancer developed with our understanding of DNA from Unit 2, use of gene therapy from Unit 5, DNA hybridization from Unit 2, and recombinant DNA technology from Unit 5. That's a pretty heavy essay, and it has come up in recent memory, although just before the last couple of years that I talked about earlier. So those, once again, they're my final 5 predictions. That's not to say I promise that these essays are coming up, but these are the ones that offer great opportunity to demonstrate a wide variety of breadth and good scientific knowledge. They are themes that pop up through the entire AS and A2 specifications, so plan these, practice writing them, but don't neglect the other ones as well. So from this point, what do we do? Well, use my essay plans that I've done in this video as a starting point and have a go at writing these essays. Hand them to a teacher or a tutor and get them to give you some feedback. But most importantly of all, don't neglect other possibilities, other essay titles that could come up. Don't count on me because, again, these are only speculations. I hope that video has helped you guys. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe if you found it useful. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.